What is your why? You know, in voiceover, in any business really, anything you do in life that you want to be successful at, you need to have a strong why. That's going to push you forward. I reflect a lot on why I had an easy time in voiceover getting started. And when I say easy, I mean that I did it relatively quickly. I put in insane hours and it didn't come right away. It took about 3 months for me to start making some good income at it. And that seems like a really short time because it is for most people. But I endured a lot of hardships at that time. I didn't know what I was doing. I was auditioning all day, every day, and working hard at scripts and not getting a lot of traction. But one thing that kept me going was my why. I had a really, really strong why in the beginning that pushed me forward. Luckily enough, and I say luckily because this is what pushed me forward, I was desperate. I'd lost my nightclub manager job. I had no savings. I had an expensive apartment that I couldn't afford now that I didn't have a job. And voiceover hadn't been started yet. That was it. I was cooked. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to eat the following month when I burned through whatever cash I had left. But I had a why. I'd watched a video on YouTube like you're watching right now about voiceover and how it can be done from home. And I was determined to do this. You know, like most people, I was told that I had a great voice and I should get into voiceover. Now, having a good voice isn't it's not a good enough reason to get into voiceover, but that's how a lot of us inevitably start. But I've heard people with fantastic voices go absolutely nowhere in voiceover because they didn't have the work ethic. They didn't have the why. My why was desperation. I needed to survive and not end up on the street. So I went out and rented equipment and I made a makeshift, what are they called again? A sound booth. I do this for a living. I made a makeshift sound booth and I got to work. And I worked hard at it every day, day after day after day after day, from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. Now, you might be watching this thinking that you work hard at voiceover. How hard are you working at it? What are you doing, an hour, 2 hours a day? People that do this professionally on the level that I'm at, I'm not even the best. I work 10 to 12 hours a day at this. Can you? Even when I was only getting, let's say, 10, 20 auditions a day, back in the day when Voices used to give you a bunch of auditions when you start. Now when you start, they give you about 5 to 7. So you need to be on multiple platforms, multiple agents, all that kind of stuff. I talk about it in other videos. But when you're done your auditions, like I would get done back in the day, what do you do then? I've talked about this in previous videos that you should be reading more scripts out loud. You have no possibility of getting a job because there isn't one. You're just practicing. Get into class as well. But even class isn't enough. Read out loud all day, every day until you can't speak, until your tongue falls out. Not really until your tongue falls out. I don't know, it's bad advice. Kids watching this, don't do that. That's like a dad joke. That's how old I am now. I'm doing dad jokes. No, you need a why to keep going. What is it? What is your why to keep you going? And it can change too. My why was originally desperation mixed with a little bit of anger because my girlfriend left me as well when I lost my job, because I lost my nightclub status job. I lost my income, and then she left me for another guy who had all that, so I wanted to show her. Which, you know, some people will say that's not a good reason to get ahead. You know, in sports psychology, Tim Grover, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's coach, talked about the dark side, where you have, everybody's got that dark side, where you got that anger about something, whether it's a hater, whether it's a guy or a girl that left you or pissed you off, or somebody else, just something in your life where someone didn't believe in you or wronged you. You got like a chip on your shoulder. Cultivate that. That can work as a why and push you forward. Revenge is a great motivator. So many people will say, no, it's not a great, it is. It really is. I'm not talking about hurting nobody. What I'm talking about is getting revenge on people that hated on you by being the best that you can be. You need some kind of fire underneath you. Otherwise, you know, when you do your whatever you're getting right now, if you're only getting 10, 20 auditions a day or less than that, what's going to keep you going to work harder, to work on more scripts, to get more agents? There's more that can be done. Do all that you can do every day. All of it. If you really want to go at this. Because like I said, I am not the only one working as hard as I do. There's a famous voiceover producer, demo producer, coach out there named J. Michael Collins. He's fantastic. He's a very reputable coach, producer, demo producer, VO himself. He posted on his Instagram that I saw a while back, and he was asking how long everybody works at VoiceOver a day, like how many hours they put in a day. And I was putting in, I typed in, I was like, I put in like 12 hours a day, but I love it. I thought I was going to be one of the only people putting that in. Almost everybody answered that. Everybody that I knew, all the people that I know about, all the professionals that were answering, they're all putting in the same time or sometimes more than I am. People that are better than me. And that lit a fire under my butt. I was like, fuck. I gotta keep doing what I'm doing. Even now, I'm doing like 50, 60 auditions a day, sometimes only 40. In the beginning of this month, we're in September right now, towards the back half of the beginning half was my birthday. I went to Mykonos, paid for with VoiceOver, and then I kind of just like slacked a little bit. Didn't do as many auditions as I usually do. Now I got a fire lit under my butt now that I'm back and I'm ready to go. But to get through those 50, 60 auditions, it's not always easy. I do love it, but I've got to have a why to keep me going. I've got lots of whys. I'm not going to share them with you right now in this video for the world to see, but I've got some that are healthy whys and some that are not so healthy whys, but they motivate me. They keep me going, and I need it. I cultivate it. I keep a list of my goals so I can look at it every single day so I know what I want to do, where I want to be in VoiceOver. And I'm always constantly trying to work to get better at it. I still train. So what are you doing? What's your why? I think that's going to make it a lot easier. When I talk to people when I'm coaching them, and I tell them how much harder they've got to work, some of them roll their eyes, or some of them are like, oh man, I can just see the stress boil over. They say they don't have time, or they've got kids, or they work across town, or whatever it is. Map out your day. But to do all that, before you do all that, find out what your why is. Is your why to put food on your family's dinner table? Is your why to pay rent? Are you struggling? Is your why because you love it so much you couldn't imagine not doing it? Do you have goals that you want to achieve? What's your why? Did you get your heart broken and you just want to show that person? That could be a good why. Heartbreak is one hell of a motivator. Trust me, I know. But you got to find that why. You find that why, and it's going to help you so much. It's going to help you want to put in the hours. It's going to help you want to schedule the time around your busy schedule. Let's say you've already got 2 jobs, you've got a couple kids, you've got a family you got to provide for, and your car's broken down, you got no gas in the tank. That's a good why. You're struggling. Use that. Say, fuck it. I don't want my life to be like this anymore. And go for it with everything you have. Connect with that why. Put it in the notes on your phone. Better yet, write it on the wall behind your computer where you go to work on VoiceOver, and look at that why every day, why you're doing this, and do it. Do it until you're exhausted, until you can't do it anymore. You put those reps in and you can't fail. I've done a lot of different things in my life, and I've had somewhat success at pretty much most of those things. And the reason for that is my why. I had the privilege of growing up extremely poor. I had nothing when I was a kid. And the reason I say it was a privilege that I grew up like that is because I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of losing everything. And that's granted me the ability to not have a lot of fear when I attack things. But it's also given me a why, because I also don't want to go back to that. I'm not afraid of it, but I don't want to go back to that. So when I do something, I have to do it with everything I have, because I'm not naturally gifted. I'm not that good at anything that I try, but I excel at it because I work 10 times harder than anybody else. That's the mentality I approach everything with. And you should too. Well, I'm not going to sit here on my high horse and say you should too, even though I just did. I'm saying if you want to achieve success, it's going to make it easier if you just put everything you have into it. And you can really only super focus on one thing at a time. So if you've got other jobs, do what you need to do to not get fired, and then put everything else into VoiceOver. If you've got a spouse, say, hey, listen, I'm not checking out of the relationship. I'm just pulling back so I can work on bettering both of our lives. You got to put some stuff on hold. But in order to be able to do that, you got to have a strong why. You got to have goals, but more importantly, you got to have that why. It's going to make everything so much easier. When you have that why, it lights a fire inside of you. So this is a short one today. I just wanted to get that out there because I thought that was something that it's been missing in some of my videos. I think it's the secret ingredient. I think that's really, if you find that why, I don't know if you need much else, because that will give you the fire to make it happen. And if you don't know how to make it happen, you will go find that answer. Now, I have a treat for you since you stayed to the very end. If you want help finding that answer, I've just started a free community. I know I talked about my paid community in my other videos, but I wanted to help people that don't have the means, that have a similar situation like I used to have. And I think that a lot of information should be free and available to everybody. So I just started a free community. It's got a lot of great information in there, and it will definitely help you get started. There's a bunch of other people. It just launched today. When you're watching this, it'll be here for a week. This is Sunday, the 22nd of September that I'm recording this, 2024, if you're watching this in the future. And the free community just launched today. A bunch of fantastic people just signed up, and they're all in there to help each other grow. And I'll be in there too, helping you. So check the links below if you want to join my free community and learn more about VoiceOver and how to get started. Now, on the flip side, if you really want to go for it and you've got the means, check out the links below for a free 15-minute call with me. Let's talk about your VoiceOver career. See if I can help you. All right. So that's it for this one. That's it. That is all. And we will see you in the next one.